Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. So today we will be reading from the 9th chapter of 6th Canto, entitled Appearance of Demon Rudrasura. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Churunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadhaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So if you're in a position to read, please raise your hand so I can pick up accordingly. Padma Mataji, thank you for raising a hand. So if you can kindly read the first 10 verses, please. You can unmute, Padma Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Text 1. Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued. Vishwarupa, who was engaged as the priest of the demigods, had 3 heads. He used one to drink the beverage called Somarasa, another to drink wine, and the third to eat food. O King Parikshit, thus I have heard from authorities. Text 2. O Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods were related to Vishwarupa from his father's side, and therefore he visibly offered clarified butter in the fire while chanting mantras such as Indraya Idam Swaha, this is meant for King Indra, and Idam Agnaye, this is for demigod of fire. He loudly chanted these mantras and offered each of the demigods his proper share. Text 3. Although offering clarified butter in the sacrificial fire in the name of the demigods, without the knowledge of the demigods, he also offered oblations to the demons because they were his relatives through his mother. Text 4. Once upon a time, however, the king of heaven, Indra, understood that Vishwarupa was secretly cheating the demigods by offering oblations on behalf of the demons. He became extremely afraid of being defeated by the demons, and in great anger at Vishwarupa, he cut Vishwarupa's 3 heads from his shoulders. Text 5. Thereafter, the head meant for drinking Somarasa was transformed into Kapinjala, Francolin partridge. Similarly, the head meant for drinking wine was transformed into Kalavinka, sparrow, and the head meant for eating food became a titiri, common partridge. Text 6. Although Indra was so powerful that he could neutralize the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana, he repentantly accepted the burden of these reactions with folded hands. He suffered for 1 year, and then to purify himself, he distributed the reactions for his sinful killing among the earth, water, trees, and women. Text 7. In return for King Indra's benediction that ditches in the earth would be filled automatically, the land accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana. Because of those sinful reactions, we find many deserts on the surface of the earth. Text 8. In return for Indra's benediction that their branches and twigs would grow back when trimmed, the trees accepted 1/4 of the reactions for killing a Brahmana. These reactions are visible in the flowing of sap from the trees. Therefore, one is forbidden to drink this sap. Text 9. In return for Lord Indra's benediction that they would be able to enjoy lusty desires continuously, even during pregnancy for as long as sex is not injurious to the embryo, women accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions. As a result of those reactions, women manifest the signs of menstruation every month. Text 10. And in return for King Indra's benediction that water would increase the volume of other substances with which it was mixed, water accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions. Therefore, there are bubbles and foam in the water. When one collects water, these should be avoided. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So, in the previous chapter and chapter before that, we have seen how Indra offended his spiritual master, Bruhaspati, by not respecting him when he entered the assembly. Indra was sitting with his wife and enjoying the praises of the subjects, and other people surrounded him. As a result of that, Bruhaspati left that place immediately because they offended Bruhaspati, their spiritual master. They were defeated by the demons. They lost everything. Then they approached Lord Brahma for a solution. Lord Brahma recommended that they should approach Vishwarupa and accept Vishwarupa as their spiritual master. And he also cautioned them, saying that Vishwarupa's mother is coming from the lineage of demons. Father is coming from the lineage of demigods. So he may be inclined, Lord Brahma said that Vishwarupa may be inclined towards demons, but you must tolerate his inclination towards demons. So following the instruction of Brahma, they approached Vishwarupa and asked him to be their spiritual teacher. Vishwarupa had agreed to be a spiritual teacher, and then he gave them this special armor called Narayana Kavacha. By chanting these prayers, and touching the various parts of the body, you apply the armor on the body. So that's by teaching them the special mantra called Narayana Kavacha, armor of Narayana, they became invincible. They became victorious, and Indra regained his opulences because of Vishwarupa. In this chapter, we see that Vishwarupa, he has three heads. One is used for drinking somaras beverage. This comes as a byproduct of performing any sacrifice. The second one used to drink wine with that. And the third one was used for eating food. For us, we have only one head. We have to do everything with one mouth. But Vishwarupa had that special privilege. So Vishwarupa, while offering oblations to please demigods, secretly, without demigods knowing, he also offered oblations to the demons as well, because they were relatives through his mother's side. So that means demons were also getting some strength because Vishwarupa, is secretly offering oblations in the sacrifice. So King Indra came to know this, and he became extremely afraid of being defeated by the demons. Demons may regain their strength, and he is extremely afraid of being defeated. And he at once cut off Vishwarupa, who is acting as his spiritual teacher, spiritual master. Vishwarupa's three heads from his shoulder. They said that these three heads, they transformed into three types of birds. It is mentioned later. So Indra now got inflicted with sin of killing his own spiritual master. He repented, and he accepted the burden of these reactions. It is said that he suffered for 1 year, and then to purify himself, he distributed this these reactions of killing of his own spiritual master to four things, distributed between earth, water, trees, and women, and also gave them a little benediction. You accept my sin, 1/4 of my sin, earth. Oh dear earth, please accept my 1/4 of my sin. Your ditches will be automatically filled. But if you accept 1/4 of my sin, you will find many deserts on the surface of earth. O trees, please accept 1/4 of my sin. If you accept it, the twigs and branches, when they are cut, will be, grown again. And because they've accepted that sin, there is flowing sap. Like that, women accepted 1/4 of sin, and as a result of that, menstruation every month was given. And for water, so bubbles and foam is considered to be the manifestation of accepting that sin. And ideally, the water with foam and bubble is not used for any kind of auspicious activity. So when we are collecting some water for any purificatory process for Achaman, we should make sure it should be free from bubble and foam, like that. Okay, so we will continue reading from 11 to 20. So because Vishwarupa was killed by Indra, father of Vishwarupa, known as Tvashta. He decided to perform a sacrifice in order to beget a son who would kill Indra. So that will be the next section from 11 till 20. Who would like to read?
I can read, Prabhu. Can I try?
Please, Mataji. Thank you.
From 11, okay. After Vishwarupa was killed, his father, Tvashta, performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. He offered oblations in the sacrificial fire, saying, O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay. Thereafter, from the southern side of the sacrificial fire, known as Anvaharya, came a fearful personality who looked like the destroyer of the entire creation at the time of the millennium. Like arrows released in the four directions, the demon's body grew day after day. Tall and blackish, he appeared like a burnt hill and was as lustrous as a bright array of clouds in the evening. The hair on the demon's body and his beard and mustache were the color of melted copper, and his eyes were piercing like the midday sun. He appeared unconquerable, as if holding the three worlds on the points of his blazing trident. Dancing and shouting with a loud voice, he made the entire surface of the earth tremble as if from an earthquake. As he yawned again and again, he seemed to be trying to swallow the whole sky with his mouth, which was as deep as a cave. He seemed to be licking up all the stars in the sky with his tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth. Seeing this gigantic demon, everyone in great fear ran here and there in all directions. That very fearful demon, who was actually the son of Tvashta, covered all the planetary systems by the dint of austerity. Therefore, he was named Vratra, or one who covers everything. The demigods, headed by Indra, charged the demon with their soldiers, striking him with their own transcendental bows and arrows and other weapons. But Vritasur swallowed all their weapons. Struck with wonder and disappointment upon seeing the strength of the demon, the demigods lost their own strength. Therefore, they all met together to try to please the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead Narayana, by worshipping him.
Thank you, Mataji. So the father of Vishwarupa was Tvashta. So what did Tvashta do? He performed a ritualistic sacrifice to beget a son who would kill Indra. So what happened was, we will read the purport to this one. Instead of Indra Shatru, the enemy of Indra, he chanted mantra. Instead of chanting mantra short, Tvashta, the father of Vishwarup, chanted it long. This is the small mistake he made. This is how the sacrifices are. Just imagine. So instead of Indra Shatru, short Indra Shatru, probably little longer he chanted. I mean, please, appear, O enemy of Indra. That is the meaning, actually. Supposed to be. But because he chanted that Indra Shatru little longer, instead of the enemy of Indra, Indra, who is an enemy. So that's how it appeared, it changed. So the person supposed to kill Indra, but what happened was that Indra will be killing this person. So, um,
Can you explain that again? Not clear.
what is not clear?
So Indra Shatru means enemy of Indra. So how it is changed to?
Yeah, so because he chanted a little long, the meaning has changed from the enemy of Indra to Indra, who is an enemy.
Okay.
Consequently, instead of an enemy of Indra's, there emerged a body of Rudrasura, of whom Indra was the enemy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Prabhupada kindly gave us this Hare Krishna mantra. Luckily for us, even though we make mistakes, it is not counted. Only the good side is taken by the Lord. So, but when you perform these sacrifices, even a small mistake like this can change the result. You got the opposite result. Uh, um, but for Hare Krishna mantra, we can utter in any way, we can chant in any way. We all have different pronunciation, different backgrounds, but nothing will, nothing bad will happen. So that is one good thing about chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So then there appeared this personality, a gigantic personality from that sacrifice. So in those days, through sacrifice, you can produce a person. That was the system. And so he said, woe enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay. And then there appeared a fearful personality, gigantic. Basically, how big he was, it is said that he seemed to be licking up all the stars in the sky with his tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth. So that's how big the demon was. His name was Vrutrasura. Asura means demon, we know. Vrutra means one who covers the sky, everything, basically. So he was covering such a gigantic person. So let me show the picture. 1 second. So we'll come to this picture in a minute. This is Vishwarupa with 3 heads. So yeah. So here you can see all these priests. They were looking like, tiny ants at the bottom on the ground. And Rudrasura appeared with weapons. What you can see that he was covering the entire sky. And so what had the demigods, he rushed towards the demigods, and the demigods charged him with his weapons. And what did Vritrasura do? Simply swallowed all the weapons. So they don't know, like, stuck with wonder, with disappointment, and they don't know what to do. If you swallow the weapons, what do you do? Weapons were supposed to injure the person, but he's swallowing the weapons. So then they decided to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. So, so we'll read the next section from there, from 21 till 30. The demigods prayed for protection, and the Lord appears. So if somebody can read, that would be great.
Prabhuji, shall I read?
Please, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you, Haribol. The demigods said, the three worlds are created by the five elements, namely ether, air, fire, water, and earth, which are controlled by various demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma. Being very much afraid that the time factor will end our existence, we offer presentations unto time by performing our work as time dictates. The time factor himself, however, is afraid of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us now worship that Supreme Lord who alone can give us full protection. Free from all material conceptions of existence and never wonder-struck by anything, the Lord is always jubilant and fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. He has no material designations, and therefore he is steady and unattached. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only shelter of everyone. Anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. The Manu named King Satyavrata formerly saved himself by tying the small boat of the entire world to the horn of the Matsya avatar, the fish incarnation. By the grace of the Matsya avatar, Manu saved himself from the great danger of the flood. May that same fish incarnation save us from the great and fearful danger caused by the son of Tvasta. In the beginning of creation, a tremendous wind caused fierce waves of inundating water. The great waves made such a horrible sound that Lord Brahma almost fell from his seat on the lotus into the water of devastation, but he was saved with the help of the Lord. Thus, we also expect the Lord to protect us from this dangerous condition. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who created us by his external potency and by whose mercy we expand the creation of the universe, is always situated before us as the Supersoul, but we cannot see his form. We are unable to see him because all of us think that we are separate and independent gods. By his inconceivable internal potency, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into various transcendental bodies as Vamandev, the incarnation of strength among the demigods, Parashuram, the incarnation among the saints, Nrsimhadev and Varaha, incarnations among animals, and Matsya and Kurma, incarnations among aquatics. He accepts various transcendental bodies among all types of living entities and among human beings. He especially appears as Lord Krishna and Lord Ram. By his causeless mercy, he protects the demigods who are always harassed by the demons. He is the supreme worshipable deity of all living entities. He is the supreme cause, represented as the male and female creative energies. Although different from this universe, he exists in his universal form, Virat Rupa. In our fearful condition, let us take shelter of him, for we are sure that the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Soul, will give us his protection. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, My dear king, when all the demigods offered him their prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari, carrying his weapons, the conch shell, disc, and club, appeared first within their hearts and then before them. Surrounding and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, were 16 personal attendants, decorated with ornaments and appearing exactly like him, but without the mark of Srivatsa and Kaustubha jewel. O king, when all the demigods saw the Supreme Lord in that posture, smiling with eyes like the petals of lotuses grown in autumn, they were overwhelmed with happiness and immediately fell down like rods offering dandavats. Then they slowly rose and pleased the Lord by offering him prayers. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
What a beautiful text.
So here you can see actually this is the slide here. Demigods headed by Indra offering prayers to Lord Vishnu. And so at the end, Lord appeared with his attendants. There were 16 in number, it is mentioned. So whenever you have a problem, so better is surrender to the Lord. That is the nature of this world. You either make mistake or something else will happen. Problems, dukkha shashvatam, as they say, that inevitable in this world. So the best thing is that he's called Abhay. Lord's name is Abhay. Abhay means is fearless. Abhaya. So you become also fearless. And it is said here in the first prayer that the time is a representation of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord comes and expands himself as a time factor, and this time factor will scare everyone, because nobody can stop the time in this world. So everyone gets aged, gets diseased, and one day they had to give up their body. So although the time factor is fearful to everyone, fear personified is upright of the Supreme Lord, who is therefore known as Abhaya, fearless. Taking shelter of the Supreme Lord brings actual fearlessness, and therefore the demigods decided to take shelter of the Lord. And then they say that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only shelter of everyone. So if you want real protection, better take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Don't take the shelter of anything else. If someone takes shelter of shelter other than the Lord, shelter of something, then it is considered to be like, it is said one is trying to cross the sea by holding a tail of the dog. Is such a fool. So here it is saying that anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool. So here it says that the only shelter, the only protector is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when there is a problem, we use our intelligence, we use other people, many other ways we use our wealth and other things. That is okay, but the main thing is that one should depend on the Lord. One should take shelter of the Lord. That has been mentioned here. And they talk about how Satyavrata, if you remember the story of Satyavrata, so when everything was inundated with water, there was nothing. And so he took shelter of the Lord. Matsya, Lord appeared as Matsya, fish incarnation, and the Lord pulled that small boat in which King Satyavrata was sitting upon. And this way, the king saved himself from the great danger of the flood. So like that, may that same fish incarnation save us from the great danger caused by son of Tvashta. Even Brahma took shelter. In the beginning, there were great waves, made such a horrible sound that Lord Brahma almost fell down from his seat. But he also took the shelter of the Lord and escaped from this dangerous position. Hmm. And then they said, Lord, we are not able to see you. And they offered further players and they requested Lord to appear. And lo and behold, the Lord appeared in front of them. Um, and he has various weapons as usual, conch shell, disc club. Um, and first he appeared within the hearts of these demigods, and then you know, he, he, he appeared outside. So and 16 personal attendants were also appeared, and they looked same, except there is a difference of mark of Srivatsa and Kaustuba. Um, Srivatsa and Kaustuba are only there on the chest of the Lord Vishnu. These others are distinguished by these two marks, Srivatsa and Kaustuba jewel. Yeah, so and so they all they fell flat completely when they saw the Lord with his attendants, and then they rose slowly, and then they started to offer him prayers. So in these prayers, we will read only few, so few of them. So this probably cover everything that we want. So let's see. So let's read from 42 onwards. Who would like to read, please?
If there's no one, Prabhu, I don't mind reading.
Please carry on, Mataji.
Till
42 till 45.
Thank you, Prabhuji. O Lord, as the small sparks of a fire cannot possibly perform the actions of the whole fire, we, sparks of your Lordship, cannot inform you of the necessities of our lives. You are the complete whole. Therefore, of what do we need to inform you? You know everything because you are the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, the maintainer and the annihilator of the entire universal creation. You always engage in your pastimes with your spiritual and material energies, and you are the controller of all these varied energies. You exist within all living entities, within the cosmic manifestation, and also beyond them. You exist internally as Parabrahman and externally as the ingredients of the material energy. Therefore, although manifested in various stages at different times and places and in various bodies, you, the personality of Godhead, are the original cause of all causes. Indeed, you are the original element. You are the witness of all activities, but because you are as great as the sky, you are never touched by any of them. You are the witness of everything as Parabrahman and Paramatma. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, nothing is unknown to you. Dear Lord, you are omniscient, and therefore you know very well why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet, which provide shade that gives relief from all material disturbances. Since you are the supreme spiritual master and you know everything, we have sought shelter of your lotus feet for instruction. Please give us relief by counteracting our present distress. Your lotus feet are the only shelter for a fully surrendered devotee and are the only means for subduing all the tribulations of this material world. Therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Controller, O Lord Krishna, please annihilate this dangerous demon Vrittasura, Twashta's son, who has already swallowed all our weapons, our paraphernalia for fighting, and our strength and influence. O Lord, O Supreme Pure, you live within the core of everyone's heart and observe all the desires and activities of the conditioned souls. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Lord Krishna, your reputation is bright and illuminating. You have no beginning, for you are the beginning of everything. This is understood by pure devotees because you are easily accessible to the pure and truthful. When the conditioned souls are liberated and sheltered at your lotus feet after roving throughout the material world for many millions of years, they attain the highest success of life. Therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we offer our respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
So Hare Krishna. So yeah, they offered beautiful prayers, and at the end they said, "Oh my Lord, you know why we are praying." Hmm? So please instruct us how we can escape the danger from Twashta. Please guide us. You know, this was their prayer basically at the end. So they are requesting the Lord to guide. So this also we can do when we are in a situation when we actually in every situation every day we should pray to the Lord. Please guide us how I should behave, I should act in every respect. So and then the Lord will speak now. So we'll read the last section of the 9th chapter. So is there any other devotee? Only few verses are there. If anyone else would like to take the opportunity, please raise your hand.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Arya Devi, thank you so much for volunteering. Yes, from 46 onwards, please.
Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued, O King Parikshit, when the demigods offered the Lord their sincere prayers in this way, the Lord listened by his causeless mercy. Being pleased, he then replied to the demigods. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O beloved demigods, you have offered your prayers to me with great knowledge, and I am certainly most pleased with you. A person is liberated by such knowledge, and thus he remembers my exalted position, which is above the conditions of material life. Such a devotee is fully purified by offering prayers in full knowledge. This is the source of devotional service to me. Till what, Shloka Prabhuji? Sorry?
Yeah, and we'll finish this chapter.
O best of the intelligent demigods, although it's true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee, whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me, does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. Those who think material assets to be everything or to be the ultimate goal of life are called misers, kripanas. They do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. Moreover, if one avoids that which is desired by such fools, he must also be considered foolish. A pure devotee who is fully accomplished in the science of devotional service will never instruct a foolish person to engage in fruitive activities for material enjoyment, not to speak of helping him in such activities. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. O Maghavan, Indra, all good fortune unto you. I advise you to approach the exalted saint Tatyanja Dadiji. He has become very accomplished in knowledge, vows, and austerities, and his body is very strong. Go ask him for his body without delay. That saintly Dadyanja, who is known as Dadiji, is personally assimilated the spiritual science and then delivered it to the Ashwini Kumaras. It's said that Dadyanja gave them mantras through the head of a horse. Therefore, the mantras are called Ashvashira. After obtaining the mantras of spiritual science from Dadiji, the Ashwini Kumaras became Jivan Mukta, liberated even in this life. Dadyanja's invisible protective covering, known as the Narayana Kavacha, was given to Tvashta, who delivered it to his son Vishvarupa, from whom you have received it. Because of this Narayana Kavacha, Dadichi's body is now very strong. You should therefore beg him for his body. When the Ashwini Kumaras beg for Dadyanja's body on your behalf, he will surely give it, because of affection. Do not doubt this, for Dadyanja is very experienced in religious understanding. When Dadyanja awards you his body, Vishwakarma will prepare a thunderbolt from his bones. This thunderbolt will certainly kill Vridhashira, because it will be invested with my power. When Vridhashira is killed because of my spiritual strength, you will regain your strength, weapons, and wealth. Thus there will be all good fortune for all of you. Although Vridhashira can destroy all the three worlds, do not fear that he will harm you. He is also a devotee and will never be envious of you.
Thank you, Mataji, Arya. So we'll read purport here, 48. Can you read the purport?
Yep. When the demigods finished offering their prayers, they anxiously waited for their enemy Vridhashira to be killed. This means that the demigods are not pure devotees. Although without difficulty one can get anything he desires if the Lord is pleased, the demigods aspire for material profit by pleasing the Lord. The Lord wanted the demigods to pray for unalloyed devotional service, but instead they prayed for an opportunity to kill their enemy. This is the difference between a pure devotee and a devotee on the material platform. Indirectly, the Lord regretted that the demigods did not ask for pure devotional service.
So the demigods definitely asked for, how their enemy, Vrutrasura, to be killed, because that is the immediate danger that they are facing now. So Lord gave them a solution. He said that, you should approach this person called Dadyancha, or is also known as Dadichi. Dadichi was actually reciting Narayan Kavacha every day. So used to do this on a regular basis, every day practically. So that's how Narayan Kavacha is the armor that he was, chanting the mantras and applying mantras on the various parts of his body. So this Dadichi gave that Narayana Kavacha mantra to Tvashta. And Tvashta in turn instructed it to his son Vishwarup. Vishwarup then delivered Narayana Kavacha mantra to Indra. So originally it came from the Dyanchar, because he was reciting it regularly, so his body became so strong. So Lord suggested that you should approach the Dyancha and the Dichi, ask for his body, basically that, he has to give up his body. He has to leave the body. And using the bones, Vishwakarma can make a special weapon called Thunderbolt. Vajra, it's called Vajra. And with that, Indra is able to attack our Vrutrasura. So here in 52 it is mentioned. We'll read the text 52, and there is a little bit of story given. Arya Devi, if you want to read the text 52, translation and purport again.
Yes, Prabhuji. That saintly Dadyancha, who is also known as Dadiji, personally assimilated the spiritual science and then delivered it to the Ashwini Kumaras. It is said that Dadyancha gave their mantras through the head of a horse. Therefore, the mantras are called Ashvashira. After obtaining the mantras of spiritual science from Dadiji, the Ashwini Kumaras became Jivan Mukta, liberated even in this life. The following story is...
Yes.
is narrated
by many acharyas in this commentary. Okay, so read the English.
The great Saint Dadiji had perfect knowledge on how to perform fruitive activities, and he had advanced spiritual knowledge as well. Knowing this, the Ashwini Kumaras once approached him and begged him to instruct them in spiritual science, Brahma Vidya. Dadiji Muni replied, I am now engaged in arranging sacrifices for fruitive activities. Come back sometime later. When the Ashwini Kumaras left, Indra, the king of heaven, approached Dadiji and said, My dear Muni, the Ashwini Kumaras are only physicians. Please do not instruct them in spiritual science. If you impart the spiritual science to them, despite my warning, I shall punish you by cutting off your head. After warning Dadiji in this way, Indra returned to the heaven. The Ashwini Kumaras, who understood Indra's desires, returned and begged Dadiji for Brahma Vidya. When the great saint Dadiji informed them of Indra's threat, the Ashwini Kumaras replied, Let us first cut off your head and replace it with the head of a horse. You can instruct Brahma Vidya through the horse's head, and when Indra returns and cuts off that head, we shall reward you and restore your original head. Since Dadiji had promised to impart Brahma Vidya to the Ashwini Kumaras, he agreed to their proposal. Therefore, because Dadiji imparted Brahma Vidya through the mouth of a horse, this Brahma Vidya is also known as Ashvashira.
So this story is given. So saying that Ashwini Kumaras, they're also demigods. They are very dear to Tadichi because of this reason. So Lord is saying that, when you are asking, put Ashwini Kumaras in front. Ask, make Ashwini Kumaras to ask Tadichi because they are very dear to Tadichi, and then he will surely accept to give his body to all of you. So I achieved this task through Ashwini Kumaras. So what did we do in this chapter? What did we see? So Vishwarupa instructed Narayana Kavacha, gave Narayana Kavacha mantra to the demigods. And as a result of that, Indra became invincible and regained his lost opulences from the demigods, demons. Vishwarupa, he had 3 heads, and used to drink wine with one, another for food, another for somrasa. He was chanting the mantras, offering oblations on behalf of demigods, but secretly he was also offering oblations on behalf of the demons because demons are the relatives of his mother, maternal relationship. So that's how the demons were also gaining strength because of Vishwarupa. So Indra became little insecure that, oh, what if demons become stronger, and if they become strong and defeat me? So Indra became upset, and he basically chopped the 3 heads of Vishwarupa, his own spiritual master, who helped him in regaining his opulences from the demons. It is said that these 3 heads became 3 birds, various types of birds, and Indra got inflicted with the sin, and he suffered for 1 year. Later, he had distributed that sin, among various things such as water, land, women, and trees. They have all shared the sinful reactions of Indra. And because Vishwarupa got killed, his father Twashta was annoyed, and he wanted to, avenge the death of his son. Therefore, he conducted a sacrifice through which he wanted to produce a person who would kill Indra. But when he was offering prayers, he chanted mantra little long. It is supposed to be short at the end. Indra Shatro. But I think Indra Shatro, something like that. So instead of killing, instead of begetting a son who would kill Indra, but as a result of that mistake, he begot a son who would be killed by Indra. And so from that sacrifice, gigantic personality appeared. His name was Rudrasura. Rudra means who would cover everything. Basically, he was licking the stars with his tongue. He was such a gigantic personality, and he charged towards demigods. Demigods, used their weapons, but he simply swallowed them all. They don't know what to do. They approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they offered prayers. Lord appeared, and they offered further prayers. So when there is danger, taking shelter of the Lord is very important. Taking shelter of the Lord is always important. But when there is danger, especially, one must, rather than going elsewhere, one must take shelter of the Lord. So they requested the Lord to give some kind of solution to overcome this problem of Putrasura, how to defeat Putrasura. So Lord mentioned that they should approach the Dyancha or the Dichi, whose body became very invincible because he chanted Narayana Kavacha mantra regularly, and from whom actually Twashta received. From Twashta, it was then Vishwarup, and from Vishwarup, it came to demigod. So he was chanting this mantra, and his body became invincible. And they should beg for his body, and once he gives up that body, they can use the bones of that body, and they can, Vishwakarma can make the thunderbolt, and with that thunderbolt, they'll become, Indra will become victorious, but that it will be a wonderful battle. This is Lord also says he's actually my devotee. This Putrasura is a devotee of the Lord. He's a divine demon. It's a very beautiful story that comes later. So we will see that in the next couple of chapters. Who was this Putrasura, and what was his, what are the prayers that he offered? What lessons we can learn as well. So with that, we will end the session. So thank you so much for being with us.
Sorry, Prabhuji, one question. So Prabhuji, you said when the demigods were in, they sought the Lord for his shelter, and they offered prayers, so then later on it does say that they did not seek his devotional service unto him. Instead, they sought shelter from him. Is that correct?
I mean, they asked how Vrutrasura can be killed. That is their main motivation.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Does it say in the purport, I think, or one of the texts, that they
Yes.
did not seek the service of the Lord? Instead, they asked him for a solution.
Exactly. Prabhupada wrote in the purport. Yes. Yeah. The point is that pure devotee acts differently. the pure devotee wouldn't ask, but the demigods are like empowered beings. They are administrator. They are they are not pure devotees like Prahlad, right? They are devotees of the Lord, but they are not pure devotees such as Prahlad and other, like we have 12 Mahajans.
But they do know.
Yes, they know that, but as an administrator, you act differently. When you are in a position, you act differently. You are forced to act differently.
It reminds me of that story where that old woman, she couldn't lift her basket, and then when the Lord came, she just asked for the basket to be put on her head or something on those lines. But she did not. I mean, she could have asked something else from
But anyway,
servant.
so we still have to remember that they are devotees of the Lord. Lord gave them solution like that, so they are still devotees. Like pure devotees act differently, but they are given that role, administrator role, and administrator you would need such kind of things, an administrator.
Yes, otherwise the whole thing will go topsy-turvy. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Manjula Mataji, any comments?
No, Prabhu, I have a question. In Bhagavad Gita, we would always read that people who did pious activities, they would end up going to higher planets or to Swarga. Then how do all these demons end up there as well? They don't do good activities. They create problems only there. How do they end up in there?
So, So your question is that, only pious people will be elevated. But how come these demons, how can they go up there? Is that, and, if they are going up there, and they should be actually be pious, right? Is that your question?
Yeah, they should be going into the lower 7 planetary systems, not in the upper ones. That was my understanding. So I was just wondering.
So what I can think of is, Mataji, that even if you see what about the demons, but even the demigods also, like how many times Indra, say for example, how many times you see like Indra is chopping the head of a spiritual master, not the demons. So they do have these tendencies. Everyone in the 3 worlds affected by 3 modes of material nature. No one is free from that, right? So what I can say is, yes, they are beings, and I don't know if anybody else want to answer, but yeah.
Is it that yin and yang? So there's good and bad in different qualities in all of us, the demigods as well as the demons. Is that sometimes different aspects will come forward? And is that one of the reasons?
Yes, so they are there. Okay, so yeah, we'll stop there. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.